Hello, welcome to Good Goal or Bad Defending, Man United versus Fulham edition. If you're interested in any transfer news, I'll be doing videos of that all the way in the off season, but I'm making them really easy and clean to see, so you don't have to sit through a whole bunch of YouTube garble nonsense of just to see where players are moving and what's going on. I'll be putting those out next week. We're just looking at this goal here from the Fulham as the ball's going to get whipped in from a corner. And we can see, quite frankly, quite happy with that bit of a melee. Not happy with this Man United defender here, though, because he's not watching the ball. I hate when defenders do this. They're watching the player, thinking they're doing a good job, but you've got to keep one eye on the player and one eye on the ball. If you can't do both of those things, your body shape is wrong. If you look where his head is, his shoulders are here and his head's facing that way, away from the play. His shoulders want to be here and his head wants to be facing down the field this way here, but they're not. And again, you got my bugbear in the Premier League. There's nobody on the posts. And remember, why you're putting players on the post is for a simple reason, is because what you really want to do isn't necessarily defend the post, but you're defending this area here, if you can imagine, right? That's kind of where you're defending, like that, in that little box there. Because you can come out and clear the ball into that little box. That's your zone, because you can run forward, and as you can run forward, you can clear the ball out this way. Let's see if that makes any difference as this ball gets played in. Bosh. Donk. Oh, look. Near post. Exactly what I said would have happened. Now, two things. Chances are, if it's a good quality defender playing on the post, he's probably come out and challenged for that header, so the header didn't happen in the first place. If he's bad at the football, when he's sitting on the post, he might have just headed it. Probably, though, sometimes, because there's a lot of power on that header, even if there is a guy on the post, you see in those goals when the guy's on the post and he tries to header it away and he ends up headering it into his own goal, it goes up into the top of the roof of the net. That's probably what would have happened here, but at least then I would have been happy that someone was there trying to do a thing. So let's have a look at the next goal. Here you go. Actually, I've just got a better shot of this right here. You can see what I'm talking about. The guy's head probably would have been about there, so he may have headed it. But there's a lot of power on it. It might have gone onto the roof of the net, but actually, really looking at where the angle's coming from, he probably would have got it away. One thing I do want to show you here is this melee that's going on over here. This could have gone anyway. This could have been a penalty. This could have been anything going on over here as well. But let's get on to that next goal, as I said. Okay, here we are into the build-up of this next goal. As you can see, this is your back line here. Someone's been caught out. Now, okay, if this is happening, especially if you're running like a coaching session and you're trying to teach what happens when this goes, what happens is this guy now is supposed to step in and cover there. Let's get rid of these lines and show you a little bit more, right? So he's supposed to get much closer and he's supposed to cover there and he's supposed to take his position there. That's what's supposed to happen, and he's supposed to come in another yard because one of the back four has pushed forward and he's exposed that gap there, so you kind of cover it by him squeezing, and him coming around to cover. And actually, let me just draw it out for you so you can actually see it properly when you're doing it. So you'd have one there, you'd have one there, you'd have one there, and this guy would be there. That would be the perfect thing. And the reason why he's back there is because if they expose that space, he can cut it off, okay? That's exactly how it's supposed to be played. You're not supposed... It's one of the reasons they don't play with flat back fours, even though they're not really flat. It's because they don't actually know how to coach it. And they can't teach this player to be the third. So that's the three line there, and you've got your triangle there. They don't teach that because they really don't know how to teach it, and they don't know what to really do anymore. They're just not good enough coaches. But so you've got that problem happening there with their defence. But also, for United, look what we've got going on here. We've got 4 players sitting there, and there's no Fulham players in the area. To me, that's a massive red flag. That's a huge danger because you've got 4 players and you've got the ball and you can run through an area. And like, if you look at these 4 players here and they pick an area to run, there's only one Fulham player for them to run past. That's what's one of the other problems that's happening with this goal, other than that massive space that's opening up there. Boomf. Turns out they don't do any of that. One player just ends up running all through them. But you can see, like, he can't challenge because he's not goal side. This player, what should have happened, because he was covering that space, should have stepped in and taken that ball straight away and squeezed it. But because they're not playing that system correctly in any way, shape, or form, that defender doesn't really know what he's doing. That's what should have happened straight away. So what would think about it logically this way? If you're playing it correctly, he would have come in and pressured the ball. This guy running with him for no reason now would have been coming over here, and they're both swapping roles around. That's basic defending 101. None of that happens here. Look what happens. Boom, boom, boom. Gets through, bit of a bundle. Now he's there. If he actually did what I wanted to, he would have already been on that ball. He would have got rid of it. But he's off shape, bump, and it's poked into the goal. Terrible defending. It's not really, I don't know. I kind of like to give some credit there because he's run through a bunch of players, to get create that opportunity. But the defending's just awful. They just really don't know what they're doing. Let's get on to the next goal. Okay, here we are on the build-up for this next goal. And what I really want to point out is this guy's received the ball here, and there's no one close to him. Don't know what this guy's doing. You're seeing this a lot lately in the Premier League. I know it's the last day of the season, so I've got to give him a little bit of, a bit of slack for that. But they're stood there thinking they're in a defensive shape, and there's 10, 15 yards between them. You're not doing anything. He's not under any pressure at all on the ball, so he can pick his pass out and decide to do whatever he wants to do. Look, and also there's a player running off the back of him. Look how much space there is behind everybody. Let's move it on a bit. Let's move it on. Bosh, bosh, bosh. As you can see, starting to find more and more space. Look, he hasn't moved. What are you doing, mate? He's under no pressure. There's no pressure on the ball at all. He can still look and pick his pass out. He still isn't doing anything. He stood there like a deer in headlights, not doing anything. Let's move it forward. Let's see what else happens. Oh, he's still not done anything. So he's not done anything, and the ball's got straight past him, basically, and he's helped create a space in behind, doing nothing. He could have pressured the ball, hurried that pass, and maybe it was a bad pass. Didn't. It was an easy pass for him. There's no one came towards him. Easy. Move it forward. Let's see what's going on. A little jink. All of a sudden, though, if you look at the lines, okay, so if we look at the Fulham line, there, look how many players United have got in between their two lines. Okay? And there's no pressure on the ball. If there's no pressure on the ball and you've got people in these positions here, this guy can always just pick out a pass. Okay, it's Fred, so we're not really worried about him picking out a pass. But that's the worrying thing there. If you've got one or two players here, and you've got, well, I mean, look, the way United are set up here, a stretching Fulham, think about it logically right now. He isn't marking anybody. He is not being marked. So he needs to be tucking in so that guy there can push out, right? Nothing, it's always like, it looks like back to front. If you get me, these players are here and these players are here. And there's a big overlap gap there. Now, it doesn't really matter for the goal, but it does matter for their being stretched and pulled apart and just being completely out of shape. You can see all these little gaps and these problems. Yeah, I know it's the last day of the season, but I'm still giving them crap. Right, so let's have a look when this pass comes in. Dosh slid in behind. The guy there, he plays him onside. So this ends up going to VAR. But this guy here, he plays everybody onside, and he's got his hand up. And remember, the guy with his hand up creates the problem, was about to give away a goal. Yeah, you're a muppet, mate. That ball has gone straight through everybody, and it's in the back of the net. Now, it is to Ratface, and you can't give Ratface these sort of positions because he can finish here. He is good enough to do this. And he gets inside, and he sits the keeper, and puts it in the back of the net. Look, Bosch sits the keeper, puts it in the back of the net. There we go. Thank you very much. But I want to give credit where credit's due. I'm going to see if I can find that pass because Fred did it, and he actually did something decent. It's amazing. I don't know how he did it. Maybe it was the last game of the season, and he's worried about getting, transferred. So he actually did a pass. But it was a quality pass on the outside of the foot. Let's see if I can find a little clip of it. My mistake, it's not the outside of the foot. No, and it's not Fred either, but there we go. Let's just have a little watch as the ball's moving forward here. Ball moving forward, bosh, gone. There it goes. Played it between everybody, and it's a quality little pass. But there we go. I'll see you next time on Good Goal or Bad Defending.